Welcome to the History 1302 Research tutorial. This tutorial will walk you through the necessary steps to find academic sources for your research into your seminar topics. We'll learn how to find the library databases and which databases are best to use for each topic. To use the library databases, you must log into Cougar Web. Only currently enrolled students are authorized to use the databases. The college pays hundreds of thousands of dollars for these databases, and we're very fortunate to have them available. This tutorial is interactive, so watch for the select icon on each page. You will get to experience exactly how to find and use the valuable information contained within these databases. We're basically going to learn how to use the following databases: Daily Life in History, History Studies Center Online, Biography and Context, and JSTOR. The tutorial has a short quiz and certificate of completion at the end. Please print it out and turn it in to your professor so you can receive credit for completing the tutorial. For now, let's get started by logging into Cougar Web. Most professors assume by the time students get to college that they are familiar with how to do research and how to find scholarly sources for papers or projects. Unfortunately, most students are great using Google, but what happens when you're required to find a scholarly or peer-reviewed journal article? You could probably find something in Google Scholar, but it will often ask you to pay for the article. You can find the very same thing free using the library databases. Just remember, you must log into Cougar Web to access the databases for free. You could do a Google search for JSTOR, but you won't be able to access any of the articles for free. Now let's find the library homepage by clicking on the Library tab at the top of the page. This is the library homepage. Notice on the left side of the page, under Writing a Paper, there's a link to the OWL at Purdue, a nationally acclaimed writing lab. It has many helpful tips on using the Chicago Manual of Style, the 17th edition. The college databases can be found in the center section of this page under the library catalog. Click on Find Articles in Databases, Journals, Magazines, etc. This is an alphabetical list of 150 college databases. These contain authoritative, up-to-date information about almost any topic you can think of. The problem is there are 150 or more databases listed. So how are you going to figure out which would be the best to use for your topic? Well, this tutorial will help you decide which ones to use and show you the most efficient way to search them. This is just a list of your seminar topics. I promise we will talk about each one of these topics throughout the tutorial. Notice the alphabetical listing at the top of the page. We're going to look at the database called Daily Life Through History. So please click on the letter D in the alphabetical listing at the top of the page. Clicking on the letter D just takes us further down that page in alphabetical order. Click on the link Daily Life Through History. The content is divided into eras, beginning with prehistory, and is a great place to find historical information about pretty much any time period. We're going to look at the world beyond Europe, 1500 to 1776. The database contains an entire section devoted to the Plains Indians, so those of you who have that topic should certainly benefit from the information found here. Please click on the Plains Indian World. A really nice feature is that it gives you information that makes you see the many tribes as real people that lived and liked to have fun, eat well, and even play games. Please click on Domestic Life. In this section, you can find out about their families, how they lived and raised their children. Next, we'll click on Economic Life. The article says there was really no distinction between urban and rural life among the Plains peoples. You can learn a lot about the various tribes, their different social structures, and how they governed themselves. The Plains peoples had a great respect for their environment and let nothing go to waste. Here's recreational life. Believe it or not, they like to play lacrosse and many other games. Notice under each article there's a link saying View All Citation Styles. It has the Chicago style, but always make sure that it's correctly formatted. I think we've learned enough about how to find information about the Plains Indians. Click the link below the image to enlarge it. So we'll say goodbye to the Crow Apsaroke chief and members of the tribe. The next database we're going to look at is called History Study Center Online. I could go back up to the top of the page and click the letter H in the alphabetical list, but it's just as easy to scroll down the page to the H's. Select Study Units at the top right of the page. Study units are broken down into different time periods and contain many broad topics about things that happened during those years. You may notice a link at the top of the page that says Archive. Unfortunately, History Study Center has discontinued this feature because of lack of use. I guess I was one of the few people that used it, and now all my saved articles are gone. But perhaps they'll take the link off the page someday. There's always a link with an article citation, but it defaults to the MLA style. It does give you all the information you need to change it to the Chicago style, though. Well, I guess it's obvious we should click on American History. You have a choice of a number of time periods, but I would start off with the United States, 1865 to 1918. For those of you researching women's suffrage and the 19th Amendment, you might want to select 1776 to 1865 after this tutorial. There's a study unit on American feminism that has good information about this topic. We'll take a quick look at that later in the tutorial. You can see there's an entire study unit devoted to Theodore Roosevelt. There's also a study unit on American race relations, and a unit on the temperance movement and prohibition in America. You can also go back and select the years 1918 through 1945. Let's see if any of your topics are listed here. Well, toward the bottom of the page is the same study unit devoted to the temperance movement and prohibition. If you don't see your topic represented in one of the study groups, click the Advanced Search link next to All Content at the top of the page. Notice I used quotation marks around George Custer. This tells the database to only retrieve items having those two terms together. Also, databases are not case sensitive, so you don't have to worry about capitalization. It's helpful on this page to exclude a number of sources. Definitely click Exclude Book Reviews from the journal articles and anything else you don't want. I unclicked Maps and Reference, Multimedia, Images, Video, and Web Links because I'm mainly concerned with journal articles. So let's click the search box. There's a study unit titled Indian Wars, 1860 to 1890. Click on Indian Wars 1860 to 1890. Custer's last stand occurred in 1876, so there's a good chance you'll find information about both Custer and the battle. Within this study unit, there's a nice painting depicting the battle. It shows quite vividly how fierce the battle was. Custer and Crazy Horse are in the bottom center. You can always choose to go back to the study unit view if you wish. It looks like there's quite a lot of information in this study unit, but I really want to take a look at the journal articles, which are at the very bottom of the page. To get there more quickly, I can jump to that section of the page by clicking Journal Articles in the menu on the left. There are 231 journal articles, none of which should be book reviews. That's always something to watch out for if you don't do an advanced search. Many journal article titles are misleading and turn out to be book reviews, which you should not use as a source. So now let's look at another database called Biography and Context. I like it because it not only has biographical information, but includes other items from newspapers, magazines, etc. Once you start typing, Biography and Context starts giving you suggestions, so we'll select Theodore Roosevelt from here. Be careful if you're searching for John D. Rockefeller, because he had a very famous son by the same name. Check the dates to make sure the information is about the father. Here's a compilation of biographies and other resources. Notice there are 14 academic journal articles, 573 newspaper articles, and 147 magazine articles. Be careful with the reference section, as these can be encyclopedias and should not be used as a source when conducting academic research. Don't ever put an encyclopedia in your bibliography page. Let's try another search in Biography and Context. I typed in John D. Rockefeller, and the database automatically added quotation marks around the name. Notice under Quick Facts, there's the date he was born and died. Checking the date he was born will tell you the information is about the father, not the son. You can quickly see on the right-hand side of the page the kind of content available here. There are 8 biographies, a couple of academic journal articles, newspapers, and magazine articles. Check out the biographies on the right side of the page. Each one has a word count. I wouldn't even bother with the first one because it's only 137 words. It's not long enough to have good information about Rockefeller. Also, make sure whatever article you decide to use is about John D. Sr., not Jr. When you click on the title of one of the articles, you get another set of tools on the right side of the page. Your citation will be at the top of the toolbar. Click the Citation Tools link. The citation defaults to the MLA format, so be sure to click the drop-down and select Chicago Style. As always, double-check your citation to make sure it's correctly formatted. Okay, so now let's take a look at our last database named JSTOR. You can create an account in JSTOR to save articles. Click the Register link at the top right of the page. If you decide to do this, please use your personal email when you register. By doing so, you can take your saved articles with you when you go on to another university. Almost every academic library will have a JSTOR subscription. Quite a number of the databases have this feature, so I would suggest you use the same password for each one you register for. You can stay logged in on your personal computer and not have to re-enter your password each time. But if you're using the library computers, you will need your username and password. Fill out the requested information and click Register at the bottom of the page. Then remember to log in each time you access JSTOR, and you'll have access to all of your saved articles. I promise you will never get any advertising or emails from any of these companies. They just provide this as an option for their users. You can see that I'm logged into JSTOR and can now add articles to my account. JSTOR is a great database, but there are a few things you can do to improve your search results and reduce your frustration level when using it. Always do an advanced search. Now you can limit your search results to leave out items you're not interested in. We don't want book reviews. We don't want research reports or pamphlets, and who knows what else. We only want articles from academic journals. JSTOR sometimes brings up foreign language articles. I always select English to prevent this from happening. Okay, one last search. Let's look for articles about Booker T. Washington. I clicked Articles Only and English, and entered Booker T. Washington in quotation marks. Well, there's certainly no lack of information available about him. 4,047 articles. Let's try to narrow our search results down just a bit. Notice the Search Within Results box at the top left of the page. There are many other options to narrow your results by publication date, specific subjects, etc. But that's more than we need to do right now. Let's type in slavery to narrow our results. Well, that narrowed our results to 2,335 articles. As you learn more about him, you can enter another 1 or 2 terms to narrow your results even further. I'll do another search for the Panama Canal and add Roosevelt to it. Don't forget to put quotation marks around phrases you want kept together. So, I have articles only, English, and Panama Canal and Roosevelt. Notice I have the option to add more search boxes. For now, let's just click Search. There are a lot of nice articles, and there's a Cite This Item link beside each article title. Make sure you select the Chicago style and double-check to make sure the citation is correctly formatted. Since I'm logged into JSTOR, I'll save some of these articles. Now on the right-hand side of the page, after you register, click Add to My Lists. You can add an article to an existing list or create a new category. I'm going to make a new list titled Panama Canal. Clicking on my name at the top of the page gives me a drop-down menu containing My Workspace. It's a repository for my saved articles, and it tells me how many articles I have in each list. I can still get my citation information for each article from within my workspace. These are my saved lists with a number of articles on various topics. To save an article, click the box to the left of the article title. I have 4 articles about the Panama Canal. These are my saved articles about the Panama Canal. I did a search for the Spanish-American War and Roosevelt. Don't forget to put quotation marks around items you want kept together in your database search. By the way, databases are not case sensitive, so you don't have to worry about capitalization when you're searching. I made a new list and put 5 articles in it. These are my saved articles. I can access them at any time, and if I decide I don't need them anymore, I can just delete them. This is a very nice feature, and I recommend you all do this. If you use your personal email address, you'll be able to take your folder with you or your list when you go on to another university or college. Another item on your list of seminar topics is the Cattle Kingdom and Cowboys. Remember, we're using the JSTOR database. I did a search for Cattle Kingdom in quotation marks and American West and added Cowboys. Let's see our search results. Not bad. There are 56 articles. Here's an article titled Cowboys versus Rancheros: The Origins of Western American Livestock Law. Something strange about JSTOR is that if you click on the title of an article, it brings up only the first page. Then you have to click through page by page, which is very annoying. And forward once again. You can see how quickly this can become annoying. If you click on the Download PDF to the right of the title, the entire article loads. So here's the entire article in PDF format. I can save it, print it, or even email it to myself. So we'll conclude our tutorial with an illustration of the cattle ranchers of Colorado. If you're ready to go on to the quiz, click the quiz button. You're welcome to go back to any part of the tutorial you wish to review. Please don't forget to print out the certificate of completion at the end of the quiz and turn it in to your professor. Thanks for watching.